First of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing frogs.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go along that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got nothing.
Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Tomorrow, Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
the
an
Chinese
erratic
Mikhail
detective is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? Look, how you deal with that? You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Gildarie, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Hi there, welcome to the Gildarie Freddie Kissoon show. Thanks for being with us. It's a rainy night in Georgetown. It has tapered off. There are stars in the skies when I was driving down. I normally take the Seawall Road. I live facing the Atlantic Ocean. Thanks for being with us this evening. Leonard Gildarie is not here. Gildarie should do what I have done most of my life. Take some time off, be alone, go and look at the ocean, be at one with the stars and the skies, and be by yourself and contemplate and reflect. Why I say that is because things are happening to Gildarie. So maybe, as we say in common parlance, he needs the Obia man. He went to visit his wife and family in the US and had a car crash in which the car has been written off, but he is safe. Then he picked up a variant of COVID-19, and I think that is going around in the US. Presidential advisor, Dr. Randy Prasad, said he picked it up, he thinks it's the flu. Gildarie said he thinks it's the flu, but people are saying it's a variant of COVID-19. And then Gildarie came back to Guyana to do his work, and a huge truck ran into the overpass where he has his cameras on the East Bank and damaged one of the cameras. So it seems things are befalling Gildarie. So you need to take a day off or so and be alone with nature. Let's hope he comes back here when we have the call in on Friday. But for now, with his bad luck, unfortunate bad luck maybe, and the COVID-19, oh, I am much older than Gildarie, so I wouldn't like him to give me that COVID-19 thing. But I hope you're doing well, Leonard Gildarie. You need to keep your journalism going, so we hope to see you very soon. Now, we have a very, very interesting guest in terms of the history of Guyana. There are not many known persons in the history of Guyana that have made it into the news or have achieved a definitive status from this very, very far-flung area in Guyana. I can think of only one person who is known in Guyana that came from that area. That is the gold miner, Patrick Hardin. And for 5 years, he's been the president of the Gold and Diamond Miners Association, and he's been in the news, so people know him. But outside of Patrick Hardin, I cannot think of any doctors, lawyers, journalists, UG lecturers, engineers, nurses, public servants that have attained national prominence that have come from this area. And this area is known as Monkey Mountain. The second person that is known from Monkey Mountain and will be featured quite prominently in the news for the next 2 years is our guest this evening from Monkey Mountain. That guest is Guyana's newest politician. She will be representing a new and united Guyana, ANUG, in our parliament. As you know, 3 parties, the Liberty and Justice Party, the New Movement, and ANUG, pooled their lists together, and the votes that they collected will go into one entity, and they will share the parliament at different periods. Well, the Liberty and Justice Party, Leonard Schumann, had his 2 years, and then Dr. Asha Kissoon, no relation, she was allocated a few months, and now the present person that will be representing ANUG is Miss ALTHIA King. Miss ALTHIA King is from Monkey Mountain, and I now have the pleasure of introducing one of Guyana's youngest parliamentarian to the politics of Guyana and to the life of Guyana. But most of all, this woman has achieved so much coming from a remote area in Guyana that I think very few people know. When we introduce her, I will tell her a little story about Cheddi Jagan, Premier Cheddi Jagan, and Monkey Mountain that I don't think even her parents know. So, without further ado, the beautiful ALTHIA King, Guyana's newest and youngest politician. Ms. King, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, for inviting me on your show. Good evening, everybody.
Before I go to my gazetteer, now this is green, so it wouldn't show on the screen properly. This is a gazetteer that tells you every single district in Guyana. You want to know where any name of a part of Guyana is located, you can get this on this gazetteer of Guyana. I will read from the gazetteer for you where Monkey Mountain is, and then I'll ask Miss King to describe that more. But just a little bit of likeness before Miss King's parents were even born. Now, Miss King, listen to this. In the first half of the 1960s, the leader of government was Dr. Cheddi Jagan, and he was known as the premier of British Guyana. The PPP's headquarters was in Rob Street, still is, opposite the most famous cinema, Metropole Cinema. And lots of people in those days would be, what we call a limer. A lot of those people would be liming from morning till past midnight at Metropole Cinema. One of those persons who used to hang around Metropole Cinema was Clement Rohi. So it was easy to hop across directly from Metropole Cinema to Freedom House, the party of the headquarters of Dr. Jagan's PPP party. And at that time, he was the leader of the government, so there was a lot of activity there. Now, there was a man who used to hang around Metropole Cinema all the time. And as usual, you step across to Freedom House. So he became well known to the PPP and to Dr. Jagan. His name was Barney Johnson, a tall, 6 feet African Guyanese. And he used to be openly saying, I'm not going to allow anybody to pelt Freedom House. I'm not going to allow anybody to hit any Indian person. Well, whatever happened, Premier Jagan appointed Barney Johnson as a teacher in Monkey Mountain. And when Dr. Jagan lost power in 1964, I think shortly before he lost power, opposition leader Forbes Bonham got up in Parliament and said, look, the Premier appointed a donkey to teach at Monkey Mountain. That is definitely in the records. So, Miss King, that's a little thing from Monkey Mountain that is in the Hansard at Parliament. Now, let me read from the Gazette of Guyana. This is a book where you can get anything, any part again. If you want to know where Middlesex is, you want to know where Maiku River is, anything at all, you go to the Gazette of Guyana. Let's see where Monkey Mountain is. There is Monkey Mountain Settlement, left bank of Ireng River or Ireng River, right bank of Takatu River, 112 miles up. Monkey Mountain, the mountain itself, left bank of Ireng River, right bank of Takatu River, 112 miles up. So there's Monkey Mountain Settlement, where Miss King came from, and there's an actual mountain. Now, over to you, Miss King.
Okay, great. Well, yes. Well, it's a pleasure to be here again. Thank you so much for inviting me. Rightfully, as you said, I am from Monkey Mountain. I have lived there probably just 4 years. I was born, my mom came to Georgetown to give birth to me and went back to Monkey Mountain. So I remained there for 4 years straight. So I would have gone to nursery, yeah, I did nursery there. And well, for persons, it's an Amerindian settlement, pure, mostly populated Amerindian. It's anything in particular you would like me to divert in, because there's so much I would like to share.
You just flow.
Just flow. Okay. Well, I did bring some pictures for persons to have a little glimpse.
Okay, let's tell our viewers what the pictures are about. Operator, can we start showing these pictures of a young Miss King and her birthplace, Monkey Mountain? Okay.
Right.
Now that's you in front there, right? Tell.
Right. So this picture was taken in the falls at Monkey Mountain. This fall actually is called Ottawa Falls.
Ottawa Falls.
Ottawa. It's a Patamuna name actually. The meaning is a little bit weird, but it means boiling water that exits through somewhere else. But that the word is very vague. But this is how really the meaning are when it comes to dialects.
And how old you were then with that photograph? About 2 or maybe 1 year?
No, about 2.5, 3 years old, probably. Yeah.
So people and you frequented that waterway when you were.
I only remember that one time going to that waterfall, and that. If it wasn't for this picture, the memory would have gone. But because my mom usually keep pictures, I remember that only time going to that fall.
But you remember the name of the falls?
Yes, it was right behind a village, actually, in Monkey Mountain.
And I'm going to ask a stupid question. The falls is still there, of course.
I hope so. And if I do go back, that's exactly where I want to go visit.
Well, the falls, of course the falls is there. Operator, let's get more of Miss King and her birthplace, Monkey Mountain. Good. That's a little Althea King, right?
Yes. So that picture was taken right in front of a shop that we had. That it's on the main road actually. So there is a main road that goes to the border of Brazil. So we had a shop there, and I also have some more pictures to show with the shop. But that was what my parents actually did during that time. We had that shop, and the buying and selling was between the Amerindians and Brazilians would actually come over from the border from Brazil to Monkey Mountain.
Let's see the business, a little modest business place that Miss King's parents earned their living from. That's your mom.
Yeah, that's
the
my
business.
mom.
That's your mother.
That's my mom, and that's the shop that we had
And
at
she,
Monkey.
that little girl in her lap, that's you.
Yeah, and at that time, there were only 2 big shops like that on the main road.
Okay, so that's where that was your now you've left there when you were 4. Those shops, that shop is not there anymore.
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Let's see, we have any more photographs of our Guyana's newest parliamentarian when she was younger from Monkey Mountain? Operator, we have any more? Yeah. Okay, well,
Right.
that's your mom.
That's my mom again, and that was a stand right in front of our shop actually. So the second picture, that was the uniform that I used when I went to nursery. If it wasn't for that picture, I would not even remember. But I do not have memory being or engaging in school. But I do remember that the school was down a hill, right? I was small, so for me, the hill probably seemed really big, but it probably was just a little hump. And yeah, I did. The previous picture was just me and my mom preparing to go for church. And the church also, what I love about that is that it was on a hill. So we had to climb up a hill actually to go to the church. It was a Catholic church.
Okay, now it's 112 miles up the left bank of the Ireng River and the right bank of the Takatu. This is a huge country. It's 112 miles up. So it's right near to Brazil. Right. Now, where did you go after the 4 years?
I want to take you a little bit back before we go to the after the 4 years, right? Because what is very important, what is this thing that I take from Monkey Mountain, that my grandmother, who also was captain of Monkey Mountain, like every village, we have a village leader, right? So I would have known, and this was way before I was even born, that my grandmother served some years, or her term, how much ever those were, as captain in Monkey Mountain. And that same road that you saw in the picture, the main road, that road wasn't like that. Also, there was just a trail going to the border. So that trail was what my parents, along with other persons, contributed in expanding that road. So when that road was expanded, the first vehicle was able to pass. That's how come you're able to even see a vehicle there. So one of the other things too is that my grandmother, she would have, this is where I come to know about farine, because my grandmother made those things, right? She made farine, made cassava bread, calves rib. You've ever heard of washi?
No. Tell me, what is washi?
So,
tell our viewers.
Washi is basically something like a backpack, but a carrier to carry something. If you're a farmer, you put your stuff inside, whatever you're planting, or if you're taking equipment, anything at all that you want to take. There was a washi that she made, and you can also Google it. It's a square looking thing that fits firmly on your back, right? And something like a sling that you put kids on, that was also something that she made. So when you say what happens the 4 years after, I like to think that what I always take, what I still and forever have with me is that same cassava and farine in my home. Which
means you've continued your Amerindian tradition.
I've continued carrying the food, the culture. It's a very sentimental value that you take with you from childhood. It really never gets out of you.
You will never be nothing
Never
else
gets
but a
out
proud
of you.
Amerindian.
Proud mix, because my dad is black and my mom is Amerindian, right?
Well, you're half Amerindian.
Yes, what they call Buffiana, but
And you maintain your Amerindian culture.
yes, it's not even like it was much of an effort. It is in with us. That's what we grew up on. This is the type of food that we grew up on. So it's something that we continue to like. We liked it. So if you like something, you're gonna continue on it, right? So it became part of who I am, part of me, I should say.
Okay. Now, before we come into the world of politics and ANUG, and now your entry into Parliament, I believe when you take that oath, all eyes are going to be on you, this young lady from Monkey Mountain. I'm sure there's going to be extreme admiration and sympathy for someone who have come from humble beginnings near to the Brazilian border to achieve what you have achieved. Why did you leave Monkey Mountain? But not you. I
Right,
think your
right.
mother would have taken you out. Yeah.
So basically, they came to Georgetown for betterment, put us in a better school because my mom at that time at Monkey Mountain, they only had a primary institution, right? They didn't have secondary. So my mom's education was only terminated from primary. So when we came to Georgetown, right, it is the betterment that your parents seek to find. My dad, when he met my mom, he was a police officer. This was in the 1980s. He was a police officer when he met my mom. He eventually had to resign because he was dispatched somewhere else. And he created that family with us, initiated our family in Monkey Mountain as a minor and that shop, right, that sustained us. So coming to Georgetown with whatever investment was basically to invest and look for a brighter future for their children. So I would have matriculated into Stella Maris Primary School. We had moved to, so my dad was from Stewartville. We would have spent some time in Stewartville right before they came to their own place in Kitty, Pike Street, Kitty, right?
I know that very well.
So it was very close to Stella Maris.
Yeah.
So that was where our future in Georgetown initiated. And what I can say is that coming to Stella Maris and my academic life throughout, it was me, myself, and I going right through because of the difficulty of having my mom who didn't finish her secondary education, and my dad who continues to mine, to be a miner, always in the interior. There wasn't really that assistance. So when I think about it, it was like, wow, we had to really push to do this on ourselves. So that was something I know that was very challenging, coming from Monkey Mountain, coming from a location that did not have all everything accessible for us to, reach a certain standard. So it was a challenge for me through my academics, but I did it and here I am.
After Stella Maris, where did you go? What other school?
I went to St. Rose's High School after
that is
Stella
too
Maris.
far from Stella Maris, right?
Right. And so I would have graduated in 2007 from St. Rose's High School.
St. Joseph?
St. Rose's.
Oh, you went to St. Rose's?
St. Rose's was on Church Street.
Yeah.
St. Joseph was on Wolford with Stella Maris.
Yeah, I thought you went to St. Joseph.
Oh, no.
You went to St. Rose's?
St. Rose's High School, yes.
Well, so you did well at Common Entrance then? What you call it at that time, Common Entrance?
Right, Common Entrance examination.
Yeah. It's another name for it now. I can't remember the name, but Common Entrance is stuck in us. Even up to this day, people say you're sitting Common Entrance. How did you do at Common Entrance? So you did well and went to St. Roses. And after St. Roses, what happened?
St. Roses, well, there isn't anything much besides me looking. I would have matriculated into the University of Guyana twice, but I didn't continue to pursue it because I just find it very challenging in everything, the facility.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's a bad experience. Yes, hundreds of students have told me they had to leave. UG's not. That is so terrible. What UG have done to so many like you. I'm telling you, I taught there for 26 years, and I could tell you, the government of Guyana has to do something, and has to do something urgently to make that place a place that people want to be at, people that can be mentally comfortable. I mean, you're a good example. You don't have to tell me. I met students who said, no, Mr. Kissoon, I rather go and look for work. No, I think the general population of this country, because less than 3% of the population of this country go to UG, I don't think the average person, the average businessman, the average politician know what goes on at UG, that it's not an encouraging place. But I think you still should pursue your tertiary education. Now let's come to...
We're coming to that.
What are we coming to? The grown up.
Because I didn't finish there, of course.
But yeah, well, let's hear.
All right. Well, basically, I did. I am currently doing psychology, but before that, not at UG, at American University of Peace Studies.
Yeah.
But before that, when I would have done sales and marketing under the American Management Association, and then I went to Brazil. I actually went to Brazil for a vacation, but I ended up staying for 2 years. So I lived there, and I work as an advanced English teacher. There was an opportunity that was actually open to me, and that offer was enticing, so I stayed to gain the experience. And that was where I actually picked up Portuguese.
So you can speak Portuguese?
Yes, I can speak Portuguese.
But the world famous philosopher Noam Chomsky, he said that language inherits in us, is inherent. It never goes away. So I think you know a few Amerindian words, right?
Otsokone.
Whatever that means. Whatever that means.
It just means
hi, hello.
No, it just means enough, or enough, or it's a remark, a remark for like oh my God or something.
Well, I must say that on this program. What's it?
Otsokone.
Otsokone. So I'm going to tell Gildarie when you come up.
Reconfirm that translation, and I'll get back to you with that.
Otsokone, meaning what?
I have to confirm that translation, but it's a remark for like oh my God or
oh my
enough.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, so when one of our guests describing a atrocious situation, I will have to say Otsokone. Oh my God. So you went to Brazil for 2 years. Now, you're pretty young. Do you consider going back to UG and finish your degree? Or UG left a bad memory?
For me, it did leave a bad memory. Like I said, for me to study in an environment, I need the facility for me to be in a...
UG is a bad part of Guyana that has to change.
It's just to do with how well person is able to study under a certain condition. So for me, when I am currently doing psychology, because I was always a business student. That's the thing. I was always a business student. when I came back from Brazil, I would have worked 4 years at the Brazilian embassy. I also studied.
Oh, you worked at the Brazilian embassy?
Yeah, I actually came back and I studied for 1 year Portuguese, right? They did a placement test for me. Actually, there's 6 levels at the in the course, right? The Portuguese course, there's 6 levels. So when they did a placement test for me, they placed me level 3, right? So this was the Portuguese that I came with from Brazil, but it wasn't the grammatical Portuguese. So when I studied at the Brazilian embassy, that's where I uniformed the language, and I enhanced my grammar and the vocabulary of the language. And then I worked 4 years after, and that would have put a more profound practice into the language, because with a language, it's not just about theory, it's about practice, it's about using the language. So I have a lot of Brazilian friends, a Brazilian community. I even go to a Brazilian church that keeps me engaged in speaking.
In Guyana?
Yes, right here.
Okay. Well, there's something I like from Brazil, and it's always in my home. They make a nice guava cheese. Make a very nice guava
cheese.
Yeah. There is the supermarket. The guava cheese you find in the supermarket is imported from Brazil. And one of my favorite politicians in the world at the moment, and even before he became president, when he was president before, is President Lula of Brazil. That man is going to leave a great legacy. Very, very fine, decent, committed, conscientious politician. Lula, I would say, outside of my own president, I think after my own president, I like Lula.
You like Lula?
Yes,
okay.
I do. I'd like to meet him. Now, people who are looking at this program would say, man, get to ANUG, get to the point, get to ANUG. How, with your background, you spent a lot of time in Brazil, then you were integrated into the Portuguese Brazilian community here. How you came to join ANUG, and how you come now to what is called the apogee, the representation of parliament. How did the ANUG phase of your life come about?
Well, I started through one of their projects. They were doing a cleanup campaign. So at that time,
where and when?
It was at the seawall behind Marriott, but I didn't know it was a political party.
I know it's the back of my hand, right?
I didn't know it was a political party. So I have more of a passion in terms of humanitarian services. So anything to do with projects where we're giving back to the community, helping, you will find ALTHIA intrigued and interested. So I did see I did see a flyer one day, and Kian actually was the one who had the flyer. Kian Jabor. So I asked him about it, if I can. I didn't ask anything. It was, can I come? Yes, this place, this time. And there I was. And that's where I met some of the executives of ANUG, actually. I met Timothy Jonas.
Mr. Walfam Karan?
Yes, I had met him.
Jonathan Yearwood?
Right, probably not on that particular campaign, but later on.
You met Jonathan Yearwood in that campaign?
I did. I think it was that campaign, but eventually I met everyone, Mark, everyone.
Yeah, Dr. Mark France.
Right. So I continued doing these projects, and there was also a youth meeting because this was a project that was organized by the youths. So I asked them to be part of this meeting, the persons who are constantly doing these projects. I want to be part of that. So I started coming to the meeting, and that's when I realized it was political. So I was like, okay, all right. So when it came time to election, and then I see the campaign the campaign had started, and I listened to the message actually that ANUG had. I favored the message, and I think I was more attracted, and I became active in actually being part of that campaign. So I was actually part of their first campaign.
But it was a baptism of fire. The 2020 campaign was not easy. It was not easy. You know what happened in the campaign? The 5 months of attempt to rig the elections, the ordeal.
But this was before the campaign. This was that ordeal was during the election, the actual election, but before the campaign. We were just there. We were just out there sending our messages. That's where I actually met Jonathan Yearwood, and Mark. I would have done campaign mostly with Jonathan and Mark. So went to a few places like Essequibo, Berbice, Linden, Arawaima. I remember going to Arawaima. So I basically went head and tail doing this with Jonathan and Mark, and then the election scheme, the election saga.
Yeah, let's see where Arawaima is. I have my book here.
Arawaima.
Arawaima, A-R-A. Arawaima, it's right bank of the Wiruni River, left bank of the Berbice River, 40 miles up. Arawaima, that's Arawaima River. Okay, now, wait, I think I am, no, here it is. Right. It's Berbice. But let's talk about the campaign, the 2020 campaign. Right. ANUG is formed. You're part of ANUG. You like what you see. You met Jonathan Yearwood, Kian Jabur, Dr. Mark France, Timothy Jonas, and you got full into ANUG. And of course, ANUG decided to compete in the 2020 elections. You were there?
Yes. Yes, I was there. I was not, however, where they I didn't go to assist in where the ballots were, where they
that's Hatfield Street, Ashman Building.
Right, and all the different locations that they dispatch persons. I was not in that. I actually was very busy, so I couldn't. But yes, so I was not part of being in that. What I was part of was the recount. That's where I came in. So I was part of the recount process from day one to the very ending of it.
You campaigned in the elections, though. Did you ever speak at any public meeting or anything like that?
Yes, in Essequibo and in Linden, I spoke. We had a TV show in Essequibo. Actually, it was myself, Mark, and Jonathan. Then we had one in Berbice also, another show in Berbice. It was myself, Jonathan, and Aruna Budram. Do you remember Aruna?
I don't know.
Aruna and
she's left ANUG.
No. Aruna is still there, but ANUG was one of the first on the first executives of ANUG, right? And then Linden. I spoke at Linden. It wasn't any show. It was just speaking out to the public. It was myself, Ralph Ramkran. That's where I met Ralph Ramkran, actually. Akani Blair at that time. And I think Kian Jabur also was on that one. So I would have spoken that one.
Now, you would say that your experience in the recount is something that will stick with you for long, because it was quite hair-raising.
I think it was an interesting experience. It was a different experience for the country. It was a bit tense. It was a bit tense and not in a good way, right? It was very negative. The vibe was something indeed, as you say, something you would not forget. So, however, I learned a lot during the process, because these are things that we need to, keep our eyes on and be intact with. So that was basically it for me.
So you started from day one, the recount, until in that recount, a lot of things were going on. There was back and forth. Is there any time that you felt this shouldn't happen in a country, this shouldn't happen with an election? Is there any time you felt as a young person, what the hell am I doing here? This is hair raising.
I think every day I woke up feeling a little bit surprised, yes, that you're actually in this situation, your country is in this situation. And it was a very tense moment there. I don't know if you remember, there were some protests that were happening in several areas, roadblocks and things like that, and it wasn't really nice. It wasn't really pleasant. The atmosphere of itself was not pleasant, because you felt a real division, and it's dark to feel division for your country, knowing that your motto, which stands for one people, one nation, one destiny. And here we are trying to figure out this election process that should not have been dragged out like that. So yeah, it was pretty much unpleasant.
Well, you would when the days were over, day 1 counting, day 10, ANUG people gathered for the evening and discuss things of which you were there. Timothy Jonas, Kian Jabur, because Jonathan Yearwood played a very strong role. In fact, before the recount, he was assaulted at the GCOM building in High Street. He had an altercation with a lady named Joseph, but Carol Joseph, right? And he ended up getting held by the police. Well,
so I remember that.
You were there?
I wasn't there, but I remembered it happening.
Okay.
We were watching on television at that time, because almost everything was live. You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was live. Everything was live. Until a point, cameras couldn't even go to a certain point. Remember? But this had happened at the incident at
High Street, yeah.
Right.
GCOM head office. That's when.
Yeah, I remember the altercation.
Yeah, but your thing was the recount. Now, in the recount, can you recall any memories incidents that you think will form part of your memory bank? We have an election coming up in 2 years' time. You would be in Parliament when the campaign starts. Election campaign don't start when you prorogue Parliament. Parliament is prorogued a few months before the election, but the campaign actually starts. A campaign for the election probably gets into full swing 6 months before the election. So you will be in Parliament. Let me ask you something. You're part of ANUG executive. Now, please speak to our viewers on this issue and clarify it for our viewers. Right. This is what I heard, Ms. King. Please tell me if I'm wrong, and so we can move on.
Okay.
I am made to understand that the tenure, remember it's 3 parties, right? The first party had their 2 years.
Yeah.
The second party is supposed to have 4 months or 5 months. And then the third party, which is ANUG, supposed to have 2 years. Now, I heard Dr. Asha Kissoon. She's from Leonard Schumann, did his stint for the Liberty and Justice Party. Asha Kissoon for the New Movement. Mm-hmm. But I'm told that she should have resigned in November. I'm asking you if that is so. If that has come out of the discussions of ANUG? Because I was told by very reliable sources that you should have been in Parliament right now, sitting in Parliament. You want to explain that to our viewers? What is going on there?
Yeah, so we would have informed Dr. Kissoon last year around that time to proceed with the transition, and after she would have informed us later on that the resignation have been sent in, so we would have clarified, the chairman would have clarified this year to ask, actually we would have asked for the resignation letter, but we didn't receive a resignation letter. So the chairman would have confirmed with Parliament, asked Parliament if there is a resignation letter and what's dated on it. So they said yes, they received the resignation letter, and it's dated for the 29th of February. So the transition...
The 29th of February coming here?
Yes.
No. Wait a minute. You're executive of ANUG. You will be representing ANUG on the Guyana stage. Ms. King, when you step into Parliament there, because of your youth and also because of your good looks, the press is going to be all around you. You're going to get good coverage. Are you telling the viewers that Ms. Kissoon tenure is until February? My understanding is Dr. Kissoon tenure ended in November. But how could ANUG accept that if it is true? Dr. Kissoon can reply if she wants to, but why ANUG? It has high-profile lawyers. It has one of the most enduring lawyers in this country, Ralph Ramkaran. It has a top lawyer, Timothy Jonas. Surely they have to tell the clerk of the Parliament the time is up. Well, ANUG accept that Dr. Kissoon is going until February? You will miss the budget debate then.
Right. She would have expounded also that, there are some motions that she would have loved to put through with that. But
she cannot. Her time has come.
We do have
everybody would love to do things.
I know. Well, you can further clarify and, get the rest of...
Let's get something straight here. ANUG time for sitting in the Parliament was November.
Correct.
And the lawyers in ANUG have not told the Speaker and the Clerk of the Parliament, could you ask Dr. Kissoon to vacate the seat? Aren't they supposed to do that? Have you?
I wouldn't say that's how it works necessarily, right? We have our MOU that we have to abide by. The MOU is done in good faith, right? We go by that MOU. We respect that MOU. If one individual does not respect or go according to the memorandum of understanding, we will wait out the term that the individual would like to
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I think you cannot show the Guyanese people. Well, if I don't know, Dr. Kissoon is not here, you are here. Dr. Kissoon can clarify if what you're saying is right. Factual. My understanding is that she should have demitted office in parliamentary office in November. But as you said, she's written. Now here, I don't want to complicate you, but what I need to understand, our viewers need to understand, ANUG has accepted that you will be in Parliament from February?
We are going to be in Parliament from the February 29th.
So you're not well, not you, the executive,
Right.
not pursuing this thing, and ask Dr. Kissoon. I think the parliamentary debate on the budget would have been very, very good for a young person like you, a young politician.
I was looking forward. It would have been interesting.
You were looking forward to that.
Well,
I think that's unfortunate. We have to show the Guyanese people. Ms. King, you're very, very young. And one of the things that has ached me when I was young like you and I was in politics, I was so idealistic at Don K.O. tilting at windmills that I wanted people to be different from the government they criticize. And that has been my problem my whole life. That you have people that come, you voted for them because you say they are different from other people. Now, I don't want to say anything to get this program and this station into any trouble, but it's unfortunate that a young person like you with so much given where you come from and what you want to achieve, you would not have the experience in sitting in that budget debate when the estimates are being read. It's quite an experience, and you will see the back and forth, the heckling and that, But well, let's turn to what you want from your young political life. Do you plan to stay? You're going to be 2 years in Parliament. Election is November the 25th of November.
Right.
Parliament is going to prorogue a few months before that. You are looking forward to rubbing shoulders with some very, very huge figures in Parliament, huge figures in Guyana, some iconic names in Guyana.
Right. So I have already, from the time Asha Kissoon had gone into Parliament, I would have also been abreast with Ms. Kissoon, following certain activities that involve, parliamentarian preparation and stuff like that. There was an activity by the IRS, where I would have also
International Republic Institute.
Right. They would have had a panelist of individuals who came on from abroad. I think it was from the US, and they would have shared their experience in politics. So it was basically just to talk about the development of politics, to share a cross-cultural experience and exposure, to see in what ways we can enhance our political prospect, our political platform, most importantly, our political relationship. I think it was a very nice platform to see persons speaking in a more realistic and personal atmosphere of both the opposition and members from the opposition and members from Parliament. I mean, members from the government, right? So I would have been part of that. I followed along with some other sit-ins that we had in Parliament alongside Ms. Kissoon. And that's how it has to be in terms of preparation, in terms of getting the information that you need to do, analyzing your environment, analyzing the people, the relationship, the way persons debate their topic, what they're talking about, everything. As a budding psychologist, this is my job to make observation.
Have you prepared yourself for 2 years in Parliament? And you can't just stay in Parliament. It has to be 2 years of going outside of Parliament and working with people. But most of all, the challenge would be to find acceptance as a Guyanese patriot among those big figures that you'll be sitting. Have you been preparing yourself?
I have met some of
Find acceptance as a Guyanese patriot among those big figures that you'll be sitting. Have you been preparing yourself?
I have met some of the parliamentarians right at the recount before some persons even went into the government. I work alongside Honorable Rodriguez. I would have met Miss Honorable Paraga as well. So some of the individuals, some of the parliamentarians, they're already acquainted with me. They already know that I have been with ANUG from that time. So it wasn't really a surprise to see me in that atmosphere, knowing that I'm going to take up or be the next representative for ANUG. So, but what you say is very important. I do have that relationship. Also with the opposition. There were persons there that I also that I met for the first time, I would say, the previous sitting. So it is a continuous and an ongoing interaction with the parliamentarians. But most importantly, we remain focused as to putting the affairs of Guyanese to priority, not to get carried away with the interaction between the government and the opposition, but to stand and stay focused on what the goal is. I know that I am the one sitting in that seat in Parliament, but it's me along with the entire band of the executives of ANUG. So everything that I portray there, everything that I speak on, it comes from interaction within the executives that would have been discussed, that would have been prepared. It is all of us coming in one force. All I am doing is representing my party. But I am going there, yes, prepared for the environment, but with a notion that I stand together with my executives to defend and portray that message that we're going to portray.
Surely you're not, home is where the heart is. Surely you're going to use your parliamentary status to see things get done in Monkey Mountain. There must be roads to be paved there. There must be infrastructural work to be done. There must be some serious sprucing up to be done. How do you get from Monkey Mountain to Brazil? How do you... speaking as talk to an ignorant city boy that doesn't know the interior. How do you get from Monkey Mountain to Brazil?
Well, from what I have known, it was that same main road that lead to the border, which I feel that area is called Normandia in Brazil, right? I have not visited Monkey Mountain since I was 4 years old. My mom would have visited in 2019. I remember she actually drove herself, my brother, and one of our cousins from there. From Georgetown, they passed through Monkey Mountain and they went to...
How many siblings you have? One brother?
I have 3 other siblings beside myself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
So
2 brothers and 1 sister.
So I'm asking you now, before we run out of time, you plan to use your parliamentary status to do things among the people of Monkey Mountain?
I would be excited to do so. It was my utmost pleasure because I carry really sentimental values to Monkey Mountain. Like I have these, to even get these pictures for you that you have requested, there was already a amount of emotion going through all these pictures of Monkey Mountain. So for me, it is my pleasure, absolute pleasure, to do whatever it takes to bring some sort of development and betterment to Monkey Mountain.
Your mom went there in 2019.
Correct.
You didn't want to go with her?
I wasn't in the country, actually. I was very jealous, very, very jealous. But yeah, I was not in the country at that time.
So, well, you have 2 ministers of public works. When you get into Parliament, just go to them and say, listen, Monkey Mountain needs to be, and both of them, I think, would be, then you're going to meet you're going to be the man with the money, the purse, the Minister of Finance. So I would think that things will be done for Monkey Mountain. As I said when we started this program, apart from Mr. Patrick Hardin, the gold miner, you're the only other person that I think has have achieved that. You going up now that you are a woman in your own right. Have you met Mr. Hardin?
Yes.
Did you say to him, hey, you know, I'm from Monkey Mountain?
He took picture with me when I was a kid in Monkey Mountain. He and my grandfather, they were business associates, business partners. And even when we came to Tongue, I would say a couple years back, I met him again because I would have taken my grandfather or joined him in going to his office, and they would have had a discussion. I would have, he knows me very well. He knows me as the granddaughter of his business associate. So if he's watching this, he's probably just smiling right now. But yes.
Well, now you have come into your own. You have to go to Mr. Hardin. Those gold miners are very wealthy people. So, Mr. Hardin, could you contribute a few million to the development of Monkey Mountain? So you plan to stay in politics. You plan in 2025 to be in the campaign.
Well, let's see.
There's no you don't have any.
No, I don't.
Reservation or hesitation. Look, after this 2 years in Parliament, I don't know if I'm going to
Oh no, I think for me, I think the experience will groove me even in a little bit more, because at the end of the day, I'm here not because of a great fetish for politics, but because you really want to make a difference. There's an opportunity given to you to make a difference, and I want to make that impact. I want to use that opportunity to make that impact and to see how best we can move together as a country, how best we can improve our standard of living. As a smaller opposition, it is our job to preach accountability and transparency. If this is being promised to our fellow Guyanese, then we are here to say, okay, rapping on that door, like, okay, when are we going to have this, or when are we going to have that project accomplished? The Guyanese are waiting. They put you in power, so they're here waiting to see that. So that is the job of the opposition, to make them accountable, to make every transaction being done transparently. Most importantly, that we have inclusivity that not just one part has the say in everything, but we also give a say to the opposition. So as a third force, we're here to bring the balance, to bridge that gap between those two big parties that we're dealing with.
I don't know if you know, but I think the pattern is the deputy speakership goes to the combined three parties. So Mr. Schuman was deputy speaker, Dr. Freddie Kissoon is deputy speaker. Now, when you go in February, if you made deputy speaker, I want to think you may achieve a little piece of history. I think you may be the youngest deputy speaker of the National Assembly in the history of Guyana. You better check that out. Our operator signaled that we're 3 minutes over. How do you say it was nice being here? Thank you. In what? In that Amerindian language or in Portuguese? Or in Portuguese?
Oh, in Portuguese. Foi bom estar aqui. Muito obrigada pela oportunidade. It was very nice being here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for being in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
This program is to highlight up young patriots who want to serve their country and make a contribution. How do you say goodbye in Portuguese or good night in Portuguese?
Boa noite, tchau.
Boa noite, tchau.
Boa noite.
Boa noite, tchau.